Okay, this is solving quadratic equations by factoring. So zero product property says that if AB equals 0, then A equals 0 or B equals 0. So we use that to solve. Now this one, of course, you could just add the 12 to the other side and divide, but let me show it to you by factoring. So if you took a 3 out, you'd have x minus 4. So the 3 can't equal 0. X minus 4 equals 0 when x is 4. So there's your answer. But again, that's linear, so you wouldn't need to factor. Let's do it with this. So let's take a 3 out. We have x squared minus 4. And then keep factoring. You know x squared minus 4, that's difference of squares. So it'd be x minus 2, x plus 2. Again, the 3 can't equal 0. X minus 2 equals 0, which would give you positive 2, or x plus 2 equals 0, which would give you negative 2. So our answers are 2 and negative 2. Okay, it's quadratic. Exponent is 2, so you're going to have 2 answers to it. Here's another one. This time the GCF is 3x, and you'd be left with x minus 4. Because 3x times x, 3x squared, 3x times 4, negative 12x. Now this time, this is important. So 3x equals 0, which means x is 0. And this one, x minus 4 equals 0, so x is 4. So our answers are 0 or 4. If you put 0 in here, you'd have 3 times 0 minus 12 times 0, which is 0. If you put 4 in, you'd have 3 times 16, which is 48, minus 12 times 4, which is 48, and you get 0. Okay? As you go along, you don't have to do out this step. If you see that you have an x on the outside, whether it's a single x or a 3x or a negative 5x, that means you're going to have 0. And the one in parentheses, it's the opposite number because you want it to get to 0. So you can write this and add the 4 each time, or you can just go directly to this. Okay, so let's say you had a trinomial. Again, you want to do your factoring. So the factoring's in another video. We're not doing factoring here. But again, x minus 3 could equal 0, or x plus 2 could equal 0. Either one. Again, if two numbers have a product of 0, one of them has to be 0. So x is 3, or it's negative 2. This one factors as x plus 3, x minus 2. So this time you get negative 3 or positive 2. This one would factor, give you a minute to think about that one. Again, you want to be concentrating on the negative 24. Think of those factors. And you get minus 8 and positive 3. So x minus 8 equals 0, which would give you a positive 8, or x plus 3 equals 0, which would give you a negative 3. Up here, x squared plus 3x minus 18, that'd be x plus 6 and x minus 3. So this one is 0 at negative 6. This one is 0 at positive 3. So wherever you're comfortable skipping a step there, you can do that. This one here, actually I'm going to change this problem. Let's make it minus 6x plus 8. That'd be x minus 2 and x minus 4. So this time we get 2 positive answers, positive 2 and positive 4. And if you're not sure about that, just check one of them out. We could check this one. 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 8. That would be 4 minus 12 plus 8. Negative 8 plus 8, 0. Check the 4. You'd have 4 squared minus 6 times 4 plus 8. Is that equal to 0? 16 minus 24 is negative 8. And there's your 0. So they do work. Once in a while we get one, wouldn't be in a section where you could solve by factoring, but this one can't be factored. You could try negative 10 and positive 1. You could try 5 and 2. You're not going to get a 1 there. So that's where we use quadratic formula. So A is 1, B is negative 1, and C is negative 10. Quadratic formula, x is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And so we would get the negative of b, which would be positive 1, plus or minus negative 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 10, all over 2 times 1, which would be 1 plus or minus, that'd be 1 plus 40, 41, all over 2, and you leave it that way. But if you should always try factoring first to see if it works. So solving a quadratic equation, and quadratic means the highest exponent is 2, by factoring.